Good afternoon to one and all. The viewers for today's session. We are very happy to invite the resource person for today's technical session, Dr. S. Venkatesan, Professor of Mechanical Engineering of this institution, and Professor Satish Babu, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, and Mr. Venkatesh, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering, who are going to deliver their lecture on design validation through various models. The topic will be very much interesting based on the design validation, which is one of the important activity in innovation. We should know about the design validation. So this session will be much interesting. I hope you will be enjoying this session. And I thank Dr. Venkatesan and his team, as well as Dr. Arun Kumar Madhuappan for arranging such type of institute innovation activities. I am now handing over the proceedings to Dr. S. Venkatesan for delivering his lecture.
So good afternoon, dear participants. I wish to thank our principal and chairman of IAEC, Dr. Nagappan sir, and Dr. Arun Kumar Madhuappan, who is president of IASC, Vinayaka Missions Kurbanada Warrior Engineering College, on behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering. So I'm very happy to deliver this lecture on IIC on design validation through various models. So as we engineer, we know what is design, or otherwise we should know what is design. Design. Slide change. Yes. A design is a plan or a specification for the construction of an object or for the implementation of an activity or process, or the result of that plan or specification in the form of prototype or product or process. So in day-to-day life, we use many products in the starting of the day to the end of the day. We use many products. So in any product, before going to make any product, so we have to design it. This is the first stage of product development. So without design, we cannot make any product. Say for an example, in the morning, we use some regular products like a toothbrush. So it has some specifications like some length or some dimensions. And we have the bristles to brush these teeth. As per the customer's needs, how to design it? We cannot design as as you wish. The design should be the reflection of the customer's needs, customer satisfactions. We have to design the product. Similarly, the many products like cell phone or pen or anything we have to design based on the customer needs. So the customer needs is the important to develop the product. So before going to develop the product, we have to design it as per the user requirements. That is the end users. Okay. Oh. Okay. See, design validations. Today we are going to handle two sessions. One is the design validation and another one is the design verifications. So I'm going to handle design validation, and Professor J. Satish Babu is going to handle design verifications. The design validation and verifications both are similar, but there will be some subtle variations. Verification and validation. The purpose of the design validation is to test the product after development to ensure that it meets the requirements in terms of application in the user environment. The process involves testing activity, implementation, inspection, and analysis, so on. The validation is performed for the benefit of the customers and user to ensure that the system functions in the expected manner when placed in the intended environment. So the design validation. When starting a new product or prototype or the project, what is your objective? So in fact, the design refers to the plan for achieving that objective, the color, shape, technology, and function. Each are means of realizing this objective. Because people always play a central role in design, it has power to bring the progress to the society. The design validation is the stage between the user requirement to the product output. Between them, we have verifications, design input. We have to give some inputs based on the customer needs. Then it has to get design output. So the design input between the stage of user requirement and the product output, we have some verification. This whole process comprises with the design validation. Say for an example, a waterproof watch. The product, this watch must be waterproof during swimming or washing hands with the watch, or some when wet in the rain. So the watch even function if the user swimming for prolonged time. The testing results should confirm that the watch should meet these requirements. Else the redesign or iterations are done until it satisfies the requirement. There are some basic design validation process are there. There are some basic design validation process are there, which means what? It's comparing the similar equipment performing for the similar purposes. Say simulating the functionality through mathematical model. We have to simulate that by mathematical model, and testing the final design to prove the system operates as defined in the user needs. There are some design validation and regulatory requirements. Does the device work for the user? The user is the user requirements is the design stage. So we have to design based on the user requirement. Does it meet the specified user needs? Does the device work in the user environment? These are them and is device usability easy, clear, obvious, and evident. These are the some basic requirement, regulatory requirement for the design validation. Yes. So design, some of the designs may be validated by comparing the similar equipment, performing the similar purposes. This method particularly relevant for validating configuration changes for existing infrastructure or standard design that are to be included in a new system. The inspection may be used to validate requirements and other functionality of the product. So analyzing the design can be done on such a mathematical modeling, a simulation, which can create the required functionality. Say, so the design validation process, there are performed in a final design that validates the ability of the system to operate as per the specified design. So we have a test plan, execution, and results should be documented and maintained as part of the design records. So validation is the collection of results of all the validation activities. When equivalent products are used in the final design validations, the manufacturer must document all the similarity and if any difference from the initial productions. So there are some confusion in the word design validation and verification. If you see, both are similar. Validation and verifications are similar, but there are subtle variations in the design validation and verification. In design verification, did you design the product right? In case of design validation, did you design the right product? You see the subtle difference between the validation and verification. So the design verification is going to see elaborately by Professor Dr. Satish Babu will take the design validation process. Did you design the product right, or did you design the right product? This is the difference in the design validation and design process. There are some advantages in design validation. We can continuously monitor the designs which enable us to meet the user defined requirement at every stage. Documenting the validation procedures will help to easily understand the functionality at any stage in the further if there might be any change or enhancement made. Development time will be consistently reduced, improving productivity, which enables to deliver the product as expected. So we can continuously monitor the design which enable us to meet the user defined requirement at each stage. As earlier we discussed, documenting the validation procedure will help to easily understand the functionality at any stage. Development time will be consistently reduced, improving productivity, which enables to deliver the product as expected time. For the before. A successful design of validation predicts the identifying the right user needs, designing the right product, identifying and addressing all risks, and verifying that the product meets all the requirements. So designing, manufacturing, and selling the right product can lead to customers and user satisfaction, increased sales and revenue, and high quality, safe and effective products. So there are various models using for design validations. One of the most important and useful model is the double diamond approach model. Next. So double diamond approach model, it has 4 stages. The first stage is the discovery, definition, and development and delivery. Together, these stages work as a map designer can use the organize their thoughts in order to improve the creativity. So we have the 4 stages. The discover stage is the collection of data. It is the very first stage of double diamond approach. It consists of leading more about the different variables that affect the problem and its possible solutions. It's common for companies to start this process by laying down the problems, presenting their hypothesis, and defining the ways to learn. The discovery of the double diamond design work framework, the objective of the stage within the double diamond model is to identify and contextualize the actual problem or opportunity. The study found that keeping employees' minds open to all possible solutions was crucial and ensure that the maximum creative problem solving. The second stage, the discovery is the first stage. It diverging the problem. We can collect the data for the final product. We have collect the more data. It is the diverging the problem. And the defining stage, it converging the problem. What are the data we collected from the customers or stakeholders? It has to converge it. That is the defining stage, which is the filtering through data and sign off. After gathering all the data in the first stage of the double diamond model, we come to the definition stage. This means identifying bottlenecks or resources waste, seeing hidden opportunities, or setting the list of things the design team definitely should not do. The definition stage aims to elaborate the different components of the project, making sure everyone understands the context of the project, as well as understanding what lies within the capabilities of the company. This means that the designer must bear in mind finances of the company, its resources, logistics, and market situation before designing any product or anything, or the process also. The third one is in the double diamond approach is the development stage. It is the start to design. The development stage involves a lot of multidisciplinary work, putting the designers together with internal partners such as engineers, developers or other department that have expertise needed in the projects. So imagine a team of designers that create a new product. The company has all the resources and whole thing is put into production. The manufacturing plant of the company isn't optimal to make that new product while maintaining the production levels of the older items. Another aspect of that takes the spotlight in this stage, the double diamond approach model, is that all the companies engage the development method, as you might have guessed. Each of the companies in the study had their own preferred methods, which is the brainstorming, visualization, making of different scenarios, and so on. Third one is the delivery stage, which is the test and release of the product. That is the testing of the product. This is the last stage of the double diamond approach model, which includes the final testing of the product, official sign off to the production and launching. Companies also we use this stage to assess the impact of the design on customer satisfaction in order to quantify the value of a good design for the brand. The companies also use this stage to assess the impact of the design on customer satisfactions. Or separately, all the companies in the study took their responsibility to create a feedback loops very seriously. This was seen in a window for a constant improvement on the product. There are various approach in the validations. Namely, there are four-way approaches in the validations. That is the analytical approach, creative approach, strategic approach, and pragmatic approach. We have the four approaches are there. So what is the analytical method development and validation? So method validation is the process of documenting or providing the analytical methods, provide analytical data acceptance for the intended use. So the objective of the validation of an analytical procedure is to demonstrate that it is suitable for intended purposes. A tabular summation of the characteristics applicable to identification, control of the impurities, and easy procedure is included. So analytical method development and validations are contains and interconnected activities conducted throughout the development process. The practice of validation verifies the given method, measures a parameter as intended, and establishes the performed limit of measurements. And the third one is the creativity. Why the creativity importance in the design process? Creativity is a big role in how a solution to the problem is outlined. What alternatives can be chosen, and how to identify new ways of looking at the problems. It is the ability to create new ideas, to design new perspectives on existing one. The creative process is the act of making a new connections between old ideas. Thus, we can Say creativity thinking is to the task of recognizing relationship between the concepts. Being creativity isn't about being the first person to think of an idea. More often, creativity is about the connecting ideas. The next one is the pragmatic decision, which makes adjust the view and their decision to the state of world. The ideological decisions make us follow a guiding principle, making a decisions that do not change the circumstance. Either philosophy can be successful. So these are the four stages in the validations approach: analytical, creativity, strategic, and pragmatic. This is the contents we discussed, the design validation process. The next the session is going to see the design verification process. Dr. Satish Babu is going to explain in detail the design verification process. As earlier we discussed, the design validation and design verification both are similar, but there is a subtle variation in it. Okay, the starting from the user requirements to the end product, which means what the production. Between them, we have verification process. So the next session, at the end of the session, both the session, you can raise the queries in the design validations as well as the design verification process. Now I handed over to the forum to Dr. Satish Babu.
Good afternoon, one and all present in this meeting. First of all, I thank our principal sir and IAC chairman of our institution and IAC president of our institution for giving me the opportunity to take this topic, the design verification. Right. Now we are getting into the presentation. So first, what is meant by product design? So product design or design describes the process of imagining. So first we have to imagine what we have to create or what is our idea. That is imagination. And we are giving shape to the imagination, that is creating the model. And iterating products. Iterating means that we are applying some mathematical formulas and protocols and some research end results to develop the product, that is iterating the products. So product design or design describes the process of imagining, creating and iterating products that solve users problem. That is very important. So we have to solve the users problem and we have to satisfy the user needs. That is the product design. So what is design verification? It is an essential step in the development of any product. Okay, either it may be a mechanical product or it may be an electrical product or it may be electronic product, whatever it may be. It is an important step. Okay, so the design verification ensures that the product as designed is same as the product as intended. So what we are having the So the design verification ensures that the product is designed is the same as the product is intended. So what is the idea we are having in our mind, that should be ensured by design verification process. Unfortunately, many design projects do not complete thorough design qualification, resulting in products that do not meet customer expectations. So most of the products are not meet the customer expectations, and they require costly design modifications. Once the design verification is implemented throughout the development of the product, we can avoid the design modifications. And it is design verification. It's also a method to confirm if the output of a design product meets the input specifications by examining and providing evidence. Okay, so it's a confirmation process. We can easily confirm whether we have designed the product in the correct manner or not. The goal of the design verification process during the product development is ensuring that the designed product is same as specified. So this is our main aim. So whether we have designed the product based on the requirement of the customer and it is satisfy the customer needs or not, that is our main goal. We can easily check it out by using design verification. So what is meant by design input? Design input means simply we can say that it is a requirement of the customers. Okay, based on the survey or by analyzing the advantages and disadvantages of available market products. That is our design input. Okay, that is disadvantages is our design input. Disadvantages of currently available product is our design input. So we have to overcome all the disadvantages and we have to launch a new product. So design, what is the design output? Design output is the result of each design phase and at the end of total design effort. So that is the end result is your design output. So the final design output is a basis for device master record for the production. Okay, this is the final design output is a master record for production of the product. Next. So verification can occur during different phases of design development. So we are doing the design verification not only at the starting or not only at the end of the product development, but we can do at the different phases of product development or design development. How we are doing the design verification means that against the comparisons, that is comparing standard human factors data to device features, and by making reviews. Reviews means that evaluating supplier component specifications to design inputs, and we can do analysis, inspections, and measurements. And finally, as the design matures, if we concluding the design or if we are successfully completing the design, comprehensive verification test plans should be written to ensure that the design output meets all design inputs. Next, when and where we are implementing the design verification, that is project activities in which design verification is useful. First one is conceptual design through to detailed design. So first step is the conceptual design. Okay, so conceptual design means that what we are having in our mind, we are giving some shape. That is by using some concepts we are doing design. So that is the conceptual design. To the detailed design means that the design before the production. So that is a detailed design. So in this stage we are implementing design verification and specification development. Third one is detailed design through pre-production and at the stage of our production stage also. We can implement the design verification process. Next. So in the previous session, Dr. Venkatesan, Professor Venkatesan sir explained about the design validation. So now we are going to see the major difference between design verification and design validation. So design verification mainly asks, did you design the product in the right manner or not? Did you design the product in the right manner? But design validation asks, did you design the right product? Okay, so there's a difference. Did you design the product right? That is one. Did you design the right product? That is the difference. So this is the difference between design verification and validation. And one more thing, important thing is design verification may use static techniques. Design verification may use static techniques, but the design validation consists of the final report, final stage, Okay, so these two, the design verification, the design validation are interrelated. Once the design verification is over, that is main difference is we can do the design verification all the stages of design product design development, but the design validation we are doing at the end. Okay, once the validation is done, then only that the product design will go for production stage, right? The next one is this is a relationship, main relationship between design verification and design validation. Here in this diagram, we have given us a medical device, but you can that is you can change into that is our engineering products also. First stage is user needs. Based on user need, where that needs are given as design input, and we are doing the design. That is the third stage. And after making the successful design, we are giving the design output. Then that based on the design output, we are making the product. Okay, this is the diagonal stage. Okay, the diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages. Okay, we just see that in between the design input and design output, we are having verification, right? So that means that we are doing verification process in between design input, design process, and design output. Okay, and after completion of verification, we are doing validation. Okay, after giving validation only, it is going for production. Okay, this is the relationship between design verification and validation. Right. So, what are the design verification processes? First one is identification and preparation. Okay, so in the what we are doing in the identification and preparation during the product development stage, the identification of verification activity is done parallelly. Okay, we are not doing separately. That identification process is done parallelly. Okay, this enables the designer to make sure that the specification is verifiable. Okay, so a test engineer can start a detailed test plan and procedures. Okay, identifying is the best approach to conduct verification, define measurement methods, record resources, tools, and facilities. Next, planning. Planning for verification, okay, is a concurrent activity. It's also a parallel activity with core and development teams. This occurs through the product life cycle. Okay, that planning for verification, because we are doing the verification process throughout the product design. So it is an throughout the product life cycle, we are doing a design verification planning. Okay, this will be updated as when any changes are made to design inputs. Okay, during this phase, the software or product under test shall be documented in scope. The third one is developing stage. In the design inputs must be developed. The design inputs must be developed, including simplest verification activities, which are unambiguous and verifiable. Verification time shall be reduced when similar concepts are conducted in sequence. So suppose we are doing similar concepts, the verification time shall be reduced. Okay. Third one is, so next one is execution. The test procedures created, remember that the test procedures created during the development phase is executed in accordance with the test plan, strictly following them in verification activity. It is very important. So the test procedures created during the development. So what are the test procedures we are creating during the development phase is executed in accordance with the test plan. So we should have plan and we should strictly following them in verification activities, right? Any issues are identified and logged as a defect at this stage. So we have to record any issues in this stage. Next, reports. This activity is performed at each phase of verification execution. The design verification report gives a detailed summary of verification results, which includes the configuration management, test results for each type of testing and issues found during verification activity. So each and every phase, we have to record and make the report of design verification. So what it will gives, the design verification report gives a detailed summary of verification results, which includes the configuration management, test results for each type of testing and issues found during verification activity. And any non-conformity will be documented and appropriately addressed. And reviews are done upon the completion of design verification activity and are approved respectively. So we have to do that reviews also, and that should be recorded. Next one is design verification testing. So testing may occur at any points on many points during the design process from concept development to the post-production. Okay, so this is very important. That is, testing may occur at many points during the design process. That is a product design process from conceptual design development to the post-production. So development test conducted with, first one is development test. So development tests are conducted with materials, models, or sub-assemblies are useful for determining feasibility of design. So design feasibility is very important. Feasibility of design ideas and gaining insights that further direct the design. So first we have to do the development test. So second type of test is prototype test. Prototype is nothing but it's a small model of the object to be produced. Okay, so prototype testing occurs with items that closely resembles the final product. So the prototype resembles the final product. It may be small in size or it may be in actual in size, whatever it may be. Next type of testing is proof testing. In the proof testing, we are doing tests on prototypes. Rather than testing to specification, proof tests are designed to test the product to failure. So up to failure, we are making the test in this in the proof testing, right? The proof testing would continue loading the table until failure is reached. So we are doing the proof testing until the failure is reached. Okay, likely beyond the specified limits. And these tests are often used to identify where eventual failures may occur or might occur. This information is often useful for identifying potential warranty issues and cost. Next one is acceptance testing. Here in the acceptance testing, we are doing non-destructive testing. We are doing entities, that is non-destructive testing that occurs with the production units. Depending upon the criticality of failures, testing cost and number of units produced, test may be conducted on initial production units under random or specified samples. Okay, so in the acceptance testing, we are doing entities, non-destructive testing, and we are doing the random manner or specified samples. Okay, or it may be a single unit. Next one is design verification methods. So there are a number of methods can be used in design verification testing. Okay, so first one is demonstrations. So demonstrations can be conducted in actual or simulated environments. So we can go for actual demonstration, or it may be a simulated software-based environments. We can go for demonstration, right? So next one is inspection. Inspection is usually used to verify the requirements related to physical characteristics. So inspection is usually used to verify requirements related to physical requirements. For example, if a specification requires that the product is a certain color, a certain height, or labeled in a specific manner, inspection would be used to confirm the requirements have been met. Inspection is typically one of the less expensive verification methods. Once I tell you that inspection is usually used to verify the requirements related to the physical characteristics. Okay. Third one is analysis. So analysis is often used in the design of a product. So it can also be used to verify the design, and is often the preferred method of testing is not feasible or the cost of testing is prohibitive and risk is minimal. So analysis is done to verify the design and is often preferred method if the testing is not feasible. Okay, if it is not feasible manually, we can go for software analysis, or the cost of testing is prohibitive and risk is minimal. In this step, suppose that we are meeting this kind of stages, we can go for analysis. And next one is similarity. If a design includes features or materials that are similar to those of another product that has met or exceeded current specifications, and analysis to illustrate this similarity may be used to verify a requirement. The simple thing is the group technology concept, that is verifying the similarity in the product. That is grouping the part into part families. This is the same concept is applied here. That is, if a design includes features or materials that are similar to those of another product that has met or exceeded current specifications. An analysis to illustrate this similarity may be used to verify agreement. And next one is testing. Testing can be one of the most expensive verification methods depending on the complexity as well as equipment and facility requirements. However, sometimes it is the only acceptable means of verifying aspects of design. So in some cases, testing only the acceptable case. So next we are going to see the detailed verification planning and procedures. Okay, detailed verification planning. What are the verification planning methods and procedures we are going to discuss? So once of all the issues of surrounding initial preparation have been resolved, verification procedures can be developed. We have to develop verification procedures. So in what way are verification procedures or protocols? In what way we are doing verifications, and in what procedure we are doing verifications. So written procedures should be developed for even the simplest verification activity. This is very important. We have to develop the written procedures for even it may be a simple verification activity. We have to prepare the written procedures. This increases the quality. So by preparing the written procedures, it increases the quality and accuracy of results and also ensures that the repeated tests are conducted in an identical manner, right? So an important consideration to make when developing detailed verification plans and procedures is the order in which activities are conducted. So we have to consider the verification plans and procedures, whether it is in order or not. Okay, so that is very important. Verification time can be subsequently reduced if all tests require a similar setup or conducted sequentially. Suppose we are doing the same setup of testing procedures, the verification time will be subsequently reduced. Okay, suppose we are doing the similar setup, and it is additionally it is sometimes beneficial to order verification activities such that the outputs of one test can be used as inputs of subsequent tests. So it is a continuous one. In some cases, output of one test may be used as an input of another test. And execution of verification activities. So how we are going to execute the verification activities. It is extremely important that the test procedures to be followed to the letter when conducting verification activities. So it is extremely important that the test procedure be followed to the letter when conducting verification activities. A failure to do so may invalidate results and may have more difficulties if the customers believe that it was done intentionally to increase probability of passing verification, or future product failures lead to legal action. Okay, this is very important. A failure to do so. Suppose we are not following any procedures by using written manner or some protocol by using some protocols, it may invalidate results and may have more difficulties if the customer believes that it was done intentionally. That is very important. Suppose they thought that it is done intentionally or illegally, it will increase the probability of passing verification, or future product failures lead to legal action. And recording of results. Okay, so careful collection and recording of data is extremely important. So each and every stage, right, whether it may be a test or method, whatever it may be, we have to record the results of design verifications, right? The customer may contractually require these records, and they may have be a prerequisite for obtaining certifications. Okay, so the customer may contractually require these records, and may be a prerequisite for obtaining certifications. And the highlighting the non-conformance. If a non-conformance or failure is discovered through verification activities, it is important to first attempt to verify that the non-conformance is with the product or not due to test equipment or other factors. Okay, if a non-conformity or failure is discovered through verification activities, it is important to first attempt to verify that the non-conformance is with the product So if any non-conformance occurs, we have to first check it out whether the non-conformance with the product, or it may be due to the equipment, or it may be due to the external factors. Next, if the non-conformance is product related, then details should be feedback to the designers as quickly as possible, rather than waiting for the completion of a test record or report. So this concept is similar to that of concurrent engineering. So we are going to form an expert group. That expert group consisting of experts in production, quality checking, design, that is in all the areas of the industry. So if any non-conformity or failure occurs during the production or design, that expert team will solve all the problems. That is the basic concept of concurrent engineering. The same concept we are going to adopt here. That is, if the non-conformance is product related, then detail should be fed back to the designers as quickly as possible. So that is a time consuming. Suppose we are confirming, we are going for any other steps to be followed, that may cost time consuming. So if any failure occurs, it may be fed back to the designers as quickly as possible, rather than waiting for completion of a test record or report. So we don't want to wait for completion of test record or report. And third point is, in highly integrated teams, the optimum method of feedback may be to have the designer witness the non-conformance firsthand. In any case, a non-conformance report should be generated. Whatever may be the case, if any failure occurs, we have to generate the non-conformance report. And it is important that the test engineer maintain these reports to ensure that all non-conformances are adequately addressed. So we have to give concurrence that the non-conformances are recorded or not. Right? So this is about design verification. Remember that the design verification, design validation are completely interrelated. Okay. Once design verification is over, we can go for design validation. Right? Okay, viewers. Suppose you are having any queries, please ask us.
Participants, if that feedback link has been shared in the chat window, if you have any queries, you can raise your hands so that I will unmute you. Participants, if you have any questions or queries, you can raise your hands. Murli sir, you can unmute and you can ask your questions. Murli sir, you can unmute, you can ask your question.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
Sir, very good presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, only one question is testing method, which one is very, very most important considering you? Which testing is more important
Sir,
considering
it's a
all
proof
the
testing.
testings?
Proof testing, sir.
Why, sir,
Proof
you are
testing.
suggesting like that?
Actually, sir, it is a entity-based testing method. Nowadays, we are mostly doing that entity-based test. Okay, and then
What is
we are
the
completely doing this test up to the failure. So, in my point of view, that proof testing is better than all other tests.
So actually it is based on software or hardware?
Either it may be a software basis or it may be a hardware based manual testing.
Suppose
Can you say any
it's
one
a
of the
mechanical
examples, sir?
component, we can go for some physical testing, as well as in the we have some simulation testing by using some software.
Okay. Sir. Now, which one is more important you are thinking, sir?
So proof testing. Sir.
Proof testing.
Exactly.
Proof testing.
Yes.
Sir, can you give the expansion for the NDT?
Non-destructive testing, sir.
Non-destructive testing. Non-destructive testing. So we cannot break it.
We are not going to touch the product, sir.
Uh-huh.
We are by using X-rays and all those things. We are making testing, and we are going to get the results.
Say for an example, if you are going to weld a material, there will be some defect in the middle of the part, which means what, the inner part of the material. There are two types of testing. One is the we can break it, and we can find the defects in the inner part of the material. In non-destructive testing, we cannot break the material. Just as sir says that infrared, we can pass the infrared rays. If there are any below holes or the porosity in that material, we can find easily without breaking the material. That is called the non-destructive testing, NDT. Simply we say NDT. Yes, sir.
But sir, actually that is possible for only mechanical or all the departments?
Oh, sir, any product, even it's the mechanical product or the electrical product, anything, we have some NDT.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other participants, if you have your queries, you can raise your hands. Okay. On behalf of our honorable principal sir and management, I thank the resource persons, Dr. S. Venkatesan and Professor J. Satish Babu, Mechanical Department, for their valuable, for sharing their valuable time to enhance the double diamond approach to all the faculties and students. Thank you very much, sir, for both of them.
So once again, I thank on behalf of our mechanical department. I thank the principal and IIC chairman of Vinayaka Missions Engineering College, and Dr. Arun Kumar Madhuappan, who is the president of IIC Vinayaka Missions Kirubananda Warrior Engineering College. Thank you, sir, for giving us the opportunity to presenting the seminar IIC. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, participants, for your patient listening.